This whole idea actually gave me a little bit of a tangential shock yesterday, which is that as this was happening, I said, wow, I can't believe this is really happening in America. And I had just signed up for some of the AI programs because I'm just curious to see how good the AI programs are. So I went to one of the AI programs and I typed in Donald Trump as the defendant in a courtroom full of kangaroos. So something to that effect. I typed in 1 or 2 prompts. It was not very complicated. And the AI spit out an amazing courtroom image, in that style of drawing that you see from courtroom images of Donald Trump sitting as a defendant with a kangaroo with a little smirk on his face sitting there as a juror. It's probably the most widely shared political cartoon of yesterday, and I was able to spit it out. I didn't spit it out at all. I just typed it in. It took like 30 seconds. So wow, that was really, really fast. And then I came up with another, even more evocative and actually somewhat disturbing political cartoon. And it told me a lot, not just about the Trump trial, told me, not even just this political moment, it told me a lot about what AI is about to mean for our whole society. So I made this little political cartoon with a kangaroo in the court. Okay, then I said, one of my other conclusions here is that in New York, you could indict a ham sandwich. So I said, okay, give me a ham sandwich that looks like Trump. Whatever I wrote, it wasn't all that much more complicated than that. And it spits out. And if you're listening to this right now, just go online, look it up later. It's so shocking. It's this surreal, photorealistic image of a sandwich with a Trump face in the ham with his little pout and his blonde eyebrows. And the eyebrows and the hair are made of Cheese Whiz. And it's really a brilliant piece of art that this computer made in like a minute. Now, this is going to put a lot of artists out of work, or it's going to radically change the nature of artists' work. It's going to change the nature of political cartoons, because the first 2 political cartoons of this Trump arraignment, which is an historic event, were just spit out by a computer because I was goofing around within a matter of minutes. But this poses a real risk for society broadly, because the trend we have seen in society over certainly the last 30 years, but really at a much longer time scale than that, is a trend toward atomization, a trend away from communal activities toward individual activities. So we don't have bowling leagues really anymore. We don't have the Lions Club anymore. I mean, these things exist, but people just don't participate in them as they used to. People don't really go to their churches anymore. People are not as involved in their communities anymore. People don't have a ton of kids anymore. And so people don't sit on their front porches anymore. They're more likely to sit on their back decks. This was a trend observed in the 70s in a famous architectural book. So all of the movement of society is toward this individualism. With the advent of computers, people spend a lot more time in their own little affinity groups online. They don't spend time with their real community, they spend time with their virtual community. Then, with the advent of all sorts of new ideologies, which percolate all around the internet, people begin to live according to different understandings of reality. Most clearly, you see this with the transgender idea. In our country right now, we can't even agree on how to know things, what a human being is, what are men, what are women. We don't agree on that anymore. We might occupy the same geographical area, but we are living in different realities. Now, one of the last shared things we had was art. And increasingly, people don't watch the same TV shows. Now we have streaming on demand. People don't watch the same movies. People just watch movies streaming on demand, and they can be tiny little movies that don't have the same box office numbers that people used to have. Even art. We now have art on demand. Then it really got me thinking. This AI stuff is in its early stages, but once they get it anywhere near a commercially viable place, it's going to all be porn, right? It's like the whole internet. It's all going to be porn. And the scariest part about it is you can then just make your own porn. And I was talking with sweet little Elise about this last night, that once they perfect this AI so that now you can create these whatever images you want, or even video, which they're already working on, Previously, AI was not that convincing. It was kind of blurry. The hands are kind of a little messed up. But within about 6 months, now it's really, really good. The hands are basically totally right. Once they perfect the AI technology so that it spreads all over porn, and they perfect sex robots, the human race is going to go extinct. Because people are they're just going to create their own fantasies. They're just going to increasingly live in their own fantasies. What's crazy about this, I promise you this will happen. People will because people are very naughty and we don't have a lot of restrictions on society, people are going to create porn of private citizens that they know. The girl next door, the girl in math class or something. It's going to be a huge legal challenge, but how do you put Pandora's stuff back in her box? I don't know how you can do that. So the effect, I don't mean to just focus on the weird sex stuff, which seems to dominate our politics these days, but it's evocative because sex is so important to the human condition, and it's such a motivator of our activities. But it's true of everything. We're just going to live in our own little safe spaces that are completely concocted within our own realities. This is what's so troubling to conservatives about the transgender ideology, is there's no communicating with someone who says, yeah, you can never know what I really believe, what I really see. There's no objective truth that we can communicate about. I just am whatever I say I am, and you have to deal with that. So, well, then that means that there's nothing objective and intelligible about the universe. It means that we can't use our faculties of reason. It means we can't govern ourselves. It's just the total atomization of society. You see, I guess the reason that the porn aspect of it all stuck out to me is because porn is such a perversion of the basic political institution. Basic political institution is the marriage, where you give yourself wholly to the other person, and your love is so real with your spouse that it actually creates a third person. And porn is just the complete inversion of that. And you see that phenomenon take place throughout every other level of society. We've got a lot coming up. We have got a woke TikTok, because this is Woke Wednesday. So make sure you stay tuned for that over at the member block at the Nostradamus Membrum Segmentum. Is it the Membrorum Segmentum? I don't know. I have to brush up on my Latin. dailywire.com/Knowles. Become a member. Use code Knowles at checkout for 2 months free on all annual plans. See you over at the member block.